Hey there, friends. Welcome to the Better Postpartum Podcast. I'm your host, Angel Swan, crunchy mom, coffee addict, and postpartum doula turned new mom coach. This podcast is your audio guide to not just surviving, but thriving during those early newborn days. If you want to care for yourself, your household, and your baby with confidence, grab your earbuds because this is the only podcast that you need. So what do you say? Should we get started with today's episode? Let's do this. Hey friends. So I've heard from a lot of you that you want to eat healthy and lose the baby weight, but you just don't have the time or energy to do healthy meal prep. Between your baby's routine and trying to keep your house straight, just trying to keep up with everything that falls on you as a mom, it can be tough to find the time to actually sit down and do meal planning and then follow through with it by cooking and prepping and all that stuff. So today I'm going to share with you my really simple and effective method for meal planning that not only allows me to eat healthy foods and fuel my body with enough energy to get through the day, but it also saves me a lot of time because I'm not constantly wondering what I'll be eating for my next meal. I already have a plan for what I'll be cooking and eating throughout the week, and that really does save you a lot of mental energy. Now, what I'm not going to be doing is telling you exactly what to eat, but instead I'll just be kind of empowering you to find meals that are healthy, delicious, stuff that you want to eat, but most importantly, stuff that's easy to prepare, and then you are going to learn how to plan out which meals you'll eat throughout the week. Now, you'll notice that my meal planning is happening on a week-by-week basis. And I think that you should follow this week-by-week plan too. I don't know about you, but I just don't have the time or energy to plan any farther out in advance than like 1 week for my meal prep and most other things. Plus, we eat a lot of fresh produce, so you kind of have to go shopping once a week if you're going to be eating fresh foods like that. So not only is my meal planning process really easy, it's really quick once you get the hang of it, because again, I'm only planning out a week in advance. And I also want to note that I always have healthy snacks around. I purposefully do not buy junk food because I just know myself too well for that. If I do have junk food in the house, I know that in the moment I'm going to be weak and I'm going to default to just eating junk food before I even search for a healthy snack or even think about a healthy snack. Now, do I let myself have junk food? Yes, of course, because I would go insane if I didn't. But I'm very intentional about the junk food that I do let into my house. So between my husband and myself, we get 2 big bars of dark chocolate and 1 bag of chips to share throughout the week. And that's all that we have. That's literally all the junk food. Everything else is fruits, vegetables, and whatever meals that I've planned. So, one more note. I'm not putting out this episode because I want you to think that you should lose the baby weight. I don't think that losing weight should ever be like the first priority in your health. The reason that we make a healthy meal plan is because we want to fuel our bodies. Because when we do that, we have the energy that we need to be the super moms that I know that you are, right? And it's going to keep you in a good mood because eating healthy does improve your mood, as opposed to like eating a bunch of processed junk foods. And then those things combined are going to improve your overall self-image, regardless of the number that you see on the scale, because you'll just feel good about the choices that you're making and the things that you've been able to accomplish because of your healthy food choices. Now, okay, all right, rant over. Now, let's just get into the steps that I actually use to create my meal plan. The first thing that I recommend that you do is download this app that I use called AnyList, which is mashed into one word. It's AnyList, but it's one word. You can use AnyList to create a grocery list that's shareable. So like my husband and I both share the same grocery list and we can edit, cross things off, whatever, add things. So you and your partner can both see the list, add things to the list as you like run out of whatever. Like if you run out of peanut butter, you can easily just go and pop it into AnyList, whatever. You can also pull recipes directly from a web page, which then automatically transfer into AnyList into like the recipe format in there, which you'll need later. Now, once you have like a couple of recipes saved in the app, you can actually use their calendar to make a meal plan. And then you can add ingredients straight from the recipe in AnyList onto your grocery list. It's literally so easy. And that's just a brief overview, but then I'm going to go a little deeper into like the nitty gritty of how exactly I do all of this. My favorite place to find recipes is Pinterest. I just love the ability to search for something specific, see the picture of the finished meal. So like what I do is I hop onto Pinterest, and you can create multiple Pinterest boards if you like. For example, you could have one for lunch, one for dinner, crock pot recipes, sheet pan recipes, however you like, whatever foods that you like to eat, make boards based on that. I personally keep it really, really simple because, again, we need to save up our mental energy. So I just have 2 main food boards that I will save pins to. So those are going to be my sheet pan recipes is one, and crock pot recipes is another. And those are the 2 that I recommend that you use as well to start out with, since these types of meals are what are really, really easy to make. And that's exactly what we're going for. When we're super busy taking care of a baby, you get it. So just go ahead and create those 2 boards, one for the sheet pan recipes and one for the crock pot recipes. And then once you've created your 2 boards, start searching for meals on Pinterest. I like to eat chicken and vegetables, some variation of that, or beans, whatever. So I will search something like chicken veggie sheet pan recipe or chicken veggie crock pot recipe. You could also like broaden your search to healthy sheet pan recipe or healthy crock pot recipe, and you'll get a bunch more results. But even better, because we're trying to focus on healthy meals, right? So then you could narrow that search back down to easy and healthy sheet pan recipes or easy and healthy crock pot recipe, just to make sure that the things that are coming up don't require a ton of prep time in the kitchen, and they're going to be relatively healthy for you to eat. And then as you come across the meals that you do want to try, just pin them to the designated board that you've created. And then once you've got at least 7 meals picked out, you can start adding them to your recipes in AnyList. So the nice thing about AnyList is they make it really easy to grab a recipe straight from a web page. So you don't have to like manually type stuff in. All that you do is you click on your pin and go to the recipes webpage. You scroll down to the recipe and then click the print recipe button. And then once you're on that print recipe page, which it should just be like the recipe, like if you were to print it out, that's what you get. So then you go to your browser menu and you click share, and then you share it to AnyList. And then the app will automatically grab the info like from the webpage and auto-populate that in the AnyList app to create that recipe for you. So then you have the recipe saved in AnyList. If for some reason you can't get the app to grab the recipe, which does happen from time to time for me, just copy the link of the webpage and put it in. Like you have to manually create the recipe in the AnyList app. So you copy and paste the ingredients, put that into the ingredients portion of the recipe, copy and paste the steps, put that into AnyList, and then be sure to paste the link to the web page in your AnyList recipe, just in case you need to like go back and reference the full recipe at some time. You have the link if you need it. And then once you've got your recipes all loaded up into AnyList, it's really easy to start creating your meal plan. So you're going to click on meal plan in AnyList, and you'll see a calendar, and then you go ahead and start planning your meals. So for me, I go grocery shopping on Tuesdays. So when I'm planning the next week of meals, I start with Tuesday as the beginning of my weekly meal plan. And my meal plan is very simple. I don't plan out my lunches because we pretty much eat the same thing every day for lunch. We usually either are eating leftovers, or if there's no more leftovers, we do turkey and cheese roll-ups. I would eat sandwiches, but I have celiac disease, so I don't eat any bread. But hey, if you can eat bread, why not just have a sandwich? Make it easy. I do work outside of the house about 3 days a week with postpartum clients. And then the rest of the days I'm usually home. So for the days that I know I'm working outside the home, I am going to choose a crock pot recipe because we still need to eat, but I only have like 5 minutes to throw something together for dinner. And my crock pot recipes are usually like some variation of chili or another recipe like involving beans, because it's super easy to just like pop open a can of beans and toss them into the crock pot. I don't like to do a lot of prep work for the crock pot recipes. So if I can get away with just opening a couple of cans, tossing them in there, and then turning on the slow cooker, that's what I'm going to do. Now, on the days that I'm home, those are the days that I'm going to do the recipes that are maybe slightly more involved. And those are my sheet pan recipes. I try to stick with meals that require like minimal chopping, but every now and then I get a little adventurous and I'll peel and dice like a sweet potato, or like I'll take all the outer leaves off and have some Brussels sprouts. Like that is kind of labor intensive, the Brussels sprouts, because you have to like take the leaves off and, cut them in half, whatever. But I save those recipes again for when I don't have quite as much on my plate. And then I also take into account which days my husband will be home for dinner, because that guy can eat. He's so skinny, but he can eat so much food. He's like a teenager. I almost never have leftovers when Eric is home for dinner. So with that said, if you're feeding other family members, just take into considerations which day they'll be home to eat dinner with you, so you can get an idea of whether or not you'll have leftovers to eat for lunch the next day. Or maybe if you need to like double the recipe, just have that in the back of your mind. Now with this, you don't necessarily have to plan a meal that you're going to cook every single day. You can easily take one recipe and double it or triple it, depending on how many servings that you'll get out of the original recipe. It usually will say that on the recipe that you find. So just look for like servings or yield, whatever. So you can make up that one recipe in one day, make a huge batch of it, and eat those leftovers for the next couple days. That's more like, your traditional meal prep. So if you want to do like one cooking day and make one recipe, make a bunch of that for the week, you can do that. You can make 2 or 3 recipes all in one day, and then you have all your food ready to go for the week. But like to start out, I think that it's a really good idea to pick just like 3 recipes that you want to make in a week, and you can either cook them all in the one day or spread them out over the week, and just kind of cook as you need more food as you run out of leftovers. And then once you've picked out the meals that you're eating over the next week and have them on your calendar, you can, did I say that already? You can click on the day and then just add the recipe to whatever day you want to cook it. I don't know if I said that already, but like once you have added everything onto your calendar in any list, right, you can click on each recipe and then the ingredients list will come up, and then you can just click on each ingredient that you need and it automatically adds it to your grocery shopping list. It is so freaking easy, you guys. And then once you've added all those ingredients that you need, you're good to go. Just don't forget to add like the other things to your shopping list, like your healthy snacks and coffee, obviously, because you probably need coffee if you're anything like me. But Angel, you say, right? How am I supposed to do all this prepping and cooking with a baby in my arms? Listen, pop that baby in a bouncer or wear them. It's really simple. This isn't rocket science. And like, I know that when you're in the thick of it, it feels like that is just way too simple of a solution. Like, how could this possibly work? It works. It works. Your baby's going to be your best little cooking buddy. If they will tolerate a bouncer, just bring the bouncer into the kitchen and set him in there so that they can watch you as you cook. You can sit there, like, reach your leg out, use your foot to bounce them if they're not big enough to bounce themselves. Or if they're really hating the bouncer, just like wear them in a stretchy wrap. Stretchy wraps are really good, especially for newborns. If they're not into the stretchy wrap, or if they're too big for the stretchy wrap, then use your structured carrier. You know which tools are going to work, right? Or if you don't, that's probably why you're listening to me talk, because maybe I know a little bit more about baby wearing, but that's whatever. If you need help figuring out your baby wearing carrier, just like send me a DM on Instagram or email me. But yeah, just use the bouncer, use a wrap, and they'll be your little cooking companion. Obviously, if you're wearing them, you want to be careful about shop. where am I from? About sharp and hot kitchen objects. Good grief. That was a hard sentence. I don't know why. So like if you're chopping vegetables, maybe stand back a little bit, extend your arms. Same thing if you're like cooking over the stove. If I'm baby wearing and I'm cooking over the stove, I tend to just kind of like turn. So my body's kind of facing away from the food, and that means the baby's facing away from the food. If you're a pro, you might want to try wearing your baby on your back. You can typically do this safely from any age using a sling or like a wrap, preferably a wrap. But if you're gonna try back wearing your baby, I highly recommend that you like master this when you're not trying to like get ready to cook, because it is a little bit tricky. It's a little intimidating. So just give it a go before you try and do all your cooking. And then like once you've mastered it and it's no big deal, just slap your baby on your back and get cooking, then you can like move forward with back wearing and cooking at the same time. So you don't have to worry so much about, sharp objects, hot things, all that. So if you, let's see, where was I? Guys, I lost my place. Oh, if you need to focus, like while you're picking out your meals and putting them on your calendar, but you're like, how do I have time for that? I can't think about anything clearly because I have a baby. Listen, I was there, right? I've been there. But guess what? I also coach moms just like you how to focus and how to find those little bits in your day that you maybe weren't necessarily looking for. And this is how we're going to plan your meals out. You do this while your baby is napping, or if they're breastfeeding, do it while they're breastfeeding. My biggest tip to remember is just like when you're meal planning and you're taking those little moments of the day when your baby's either sleeping or distracted, when you're going about your meal planning, looking on Pinterest, just stay on task. It's super easy to like get sucked down a rabbit hole when you're on Pinterest. So anytime you find yourself getting distracted, like, oh, I was looking up fall recipes and now, oh, look at that cute fall sweater. Let's go look at the fall sweaters. No. Recognize what you're doing. Remind yourself why you're on Pinterest in the first place, and then get back to your meal planning. But friends, like, I think that's about it. It is really, really easy to eat well, to eat healthy foods that are going to fuel your body, to even have a meal plan at all, even if you wanted to plan like foods that are full of like the cream cheese recipes or whatever. It's really easy to like make your meal plan when you do it in this way. There's no paper involved. I'm not making you print out anything, write anything down. It's literally really easy. You can keep it all on your phone. It's also really easy to clean up these meals because you're only cleaning like a crock pot, a sheet pan, maybe a mixing bowl, a cutting board, and a knife, and maybe a spatula. That's about it. It's really, really low maintenance as far as meal planning and cooking goes. And I really don't think that I could make this simpler if I tried. I really love things that are like easy and effective, things that are not wasteful. And like this meal planning just kind of has it all, right? This is easy, it's effective, and we have low waste because we're not like using up a bunch of dishes that we don't need. It's all kind of streamlined because we're doing everything in like one pot, one pan. You get the picture. So create your meal plan, add the ingredients to your list, add your healthy snacks to your list. Don't forget the coffee. And then when you're at the grocery store, go in with laser focus, buy only the things that are on your list. Get in there and get out. No wandering around the aisles. Don't buy things that you don't need, and don't go shopping while you're hungry. So what I want you to do now is go download the AnyList app and Pinterest if you didn't already have it, and start working on your meal plan for next week. Then I want you to screenshot whatever recipe you're most excited to make this week and DM it to me on Instagram at angel.swan, or you can send it to me in an email. Send that to angel@angelswan.com because I want to see what you're cooking good looking. And I also want to be there for you if you need me. As always, if you need help figuring out this meal planning system that we talked about today, if you have any questions about the episode, or if you need help getting in tune with your baby, getting in sync with them, or just finding your rhythm as a mom, anything postpartum baby related, that's literally what I do. That's my life's work and my passion. So I am happy to help you. Just reach out. You can send me an email again to angel@angelswan.com or send me a DM on Instagram @angel.swan. And don't forget, I don't know if I've said this in a while, but on my website, I have a free postpartum planner that kind of guides you through setting up a support system so that you can avoid overwhelm and burnout and actually enjoy your time with your baby instead of like stressing and trying to just like, get through it, get on to the next thing. You can just relax and enjoy your time when you have a support system set up. And so you can get my postpartum planner at my website. It's right there on the front page. Go to angelswan.com and it's the first thing on there. You cannot miss it. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. If you love this episode, please go to Apple Podcasts, iTunes, whatever, preferably on the Apple platform, and leave me a 5-star review. If you want to write me a little love note on that review, even better. I would love you forever. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Better Postpartum Podcast. Here's what I want you to do next. If you loved what you heard today, would you do me a giant favor and leave me a written 5-star review? Those little love notes that you leave are the perfect way to thank me for putting out these episodes just for you. Seriously, it would mean the world to me. Next, take a screenshot of the episode you're listening to right now and share it on your Instagram stories and make sure you tag me @angel.swan. That's SWON, so that more moms can find this podcast and hopefully get the advice and encouragement they need to truly thrive with their babies. And don't forget to come back every single week for more nuggets of wisdom and truth bombs about the early motherhood journey. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.